The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the barren desert landscape. The air shimmered with heat, and in the distance, the imposing fortress of Al-Mihrab loomed like a spectre, its walls thick and formidable, a grim reminder of the power it held. Inside, the notorious terrorist leader, Al-Hakam, ruled with an iron fist, his army of zealots ready to strike at any moment. In a small, dimly lit office in Washington, D.C., CIA Director Veronica Lane stared at her computer screen, frustration boiling beneath her composed exterior. "Damn it," she muttered, fingers tapping an impatient rhythm on the desk. "We can't let this go on." Her trusted aide, Mark, leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "What's the next move, Director? We can't breach Al-Mihrab with conventional tactics. Their defenses are impenetrable." Veronica's jaw tightened. "I know. We need a different approach. Something unconventional." "Like what?" "We've exhausted every option." "Not every option." She paused, her mind racing. "There's a rumor about a secret government project. The moles." Mark raised an eyebrow. "You mean the one everyone says is just a myth? Come on, Veronica." "I need to know if it's real. I have a contact who might help." "Who?" "An old friend. She's in the field, has connections to some shady characters." "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Yes," she replied, her voice firm. "Set up the meeting." The dimly lit bar was a world away from the chaos of the desert. Smoky air mingled with hushed whispers as Veronica sat at a secluded table, her gaze fixed on the door. She drummed her fingers against the polished wood, anxiety gnawing at her. The door swung open, and in strode a tall figure clad in a long coat, the brim of his hat casting a shadow over his face. He scanned the room before locking eyes with Veronica. "Chief," she said, forcing herself to maintain an air of indifference, though she felt a shiver of unease. "Director Lane," he replied, sliding into the seat across from her. "You look well." "Cut the pleasantries. I need to know about the moles and how they can help us with Al-Hakam." He leaned back, fingers steepled. "You're not going to like what I'm about to tell you." "Which is?" Veronica asked. "Absolutely nothing." Chief chuckled. "The truth is the higher-ups knew you would fail. They've had us deep undercover for years. The moles are inside, baby. Now that you know what you know, when this is over, you can take the credit." Confusion danced in Veronica's eyes. "What do you mean?" "The moles are inside." Elsewhere, in a lavish tent adorned with rich fabrics and gold accents, Al-Hakam sat on a throne-like chair, his fingers steepled beneath his chin. Across from him, his wife Layla looked pale, her hands resting protectively over the small bump of her pregnancy. "Layla, you look unwell," Al-Hakam said, his voice low and commanding. "Is the child not well?" "No, it's fine," she replied, forcing a smile. "Just tired." He narrowed his eyes, suspicion creeping in. "You've been distant lately. What are you hiding?" "Nothing!" she exclaimed, panic flashing in her eyes. "I'm just feeling overwhelmed." As Al-Hakam turned away, Layla felt a sudden pulse of anxiety. She had been hearing a voice, a whisper in her mind that grew stronger by the day. At first, she had been terrified, but the voice claimed to be her baby, communicating in ways she didn't understand. "Mommy, don't tell him," the voice echoed, soft yet insistent. "I won't," she promised, glancing at her husband, who seemed lost in thought. Layla felt the voice grow louder, more persistent. "Mommy, you need to listen to me. He's not who you think he is." "What do you mean?" Layla whispered, glancing around nervously. "He's planning something terrible. You need to find out the passwords, the operations. It's the only way you'll survive." "Survive?" she echoed, dread pooling in her stomach. "What do you mean?" Before the voice could answer, A wave of darkness washed over her, and she collapsed onto the luxurious carpet, consciousness slipping away. "Layla!" Al-Hakam's voice echoed through the tent as he rushed to her side, shaking her gently. "Wake up!" When she opened her eyes, she was disoriented, the world around her spinning. "What happened?" "You fainted," he said, his tone suddenly softening. "I was worried." "I'm fine," she insisted, forcing herself to sit up. "Just a little tired." "You must take better care of yourself for the child," he said, concern etching his features. "I cannot lose you." As he held her gaze, the voice in her head whispered again. "You need to do this, Layla. Get the passwords. It's the only way." Layla had managed to slip away while Al-Hakam was distracted. Heart pounding, she rifled through his books, her fingers trembling as she searched for the passwords. The voice guided her, urging her on. "Faster, Layla, they're watching." She found a worn notebook, its pages filled with scrawled notes. "This is it," she whispered to herself, jotting down the information. Suddenly, darkness enveloped her again, and she felt herself slipping away, consciousness fading. "Layla," Al-Hakam's voice echoed in the void. "If you're hiding something, I'll find out." She awoke in a haze, the world around her shifting. This time, she wasn't in her body. She felt the weight of something small and fragile, and fear gripped her heart. "Where am I?" she gasped, hearing a familiar voice from somewhere beyond her reach. "You're safe, but there's no time. I'm in control now," the voice said, smooth and chilling. "Your husband is a fool, and you're going to help me take him down." "Help you?" Layla struggled against the strange sensation. "What have you done?" "Relax. I needed your body to finish what I started. You were just too weak to do it yourself." Veronica received a call from Chief, his tone serious. "We have the information. Al-Hakam's operations are compromised." "How?" she demanded, the thrill of victory mingling with the dread of the unknown. "Let's just say our mole is exceptionally resourceful," Chief replied, "but we need to strike fast." "Get teams ready! We move tonight!" Veronica ordered, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Back in Al-Hakam's camp, the atmosphere shifted as Layla's body moved with a new purpose. The voice was in control, and she felt the weight of her own consciousness fading into the background. "Relax, don't fight it, bitch," the voice cooed as she gathered the troops around her, her husband oblivious to the transformation. "What's happening?" Al-Hakam asked, concern darkening his features. "You're acting strange." "Everything is fine," the voice replied smoothly, a smile gracing Layla's lips. "The baby and I are okay." As the moon rose high in the desert sky, Veronica and her team approached the fortress, their hearts pounding with anticipation. "Ready?" she whispered, her eyes scanning the perimeter. "Ready," Mark confirmed, clutching his weapon tightly. Just then, a loud explosion echoed from within the fortress, shaking the ground beneath their feet. "What the hell?" Veronica shouted, adrenaline spiking. "Looks like our mole decided to speed things up," Chief said, a satisfied grin on his face. In the chaos, Al-Hakam confronted Layla, his eyes wide with fear. "What have you done?" "Just fulfilling my destiny," she replied, the voice dripping with malice as it took control. "You never saw it coming, did you?" With a command that felt foreign yet exhilarating, the children of the camp, those who had been moles just like her, began their attack, turning on their own fathers and brothers. "No!" Al-Hakam shouted, trying to regain control, but it was too late. Veronica watched in disbelief as the fortress erupted in chaos, the sound of gunfire mingling with screams. "Is this part of the plan?" she asked Chief, who merely chuckled. "More than you know," he replied. "This is the end for Al-Hakam." As the dust settled, Layla stood amidst the remnants of her old life. The voice within her pulsed with power, exhilaration flooding her veins. "You did well, Layla," it purred, satisfaction echoing in her mind. "To bad you are just as guilty as you husband." But deep within her, a flicker of her own consciousness struggled to break free. "No, this isn't right." "Silence!" the voice commanded, drowning her out. The voice drank a vial of poison, killing her and Layla. Soon the rest of the moles followed. Hours later, as Veronica surveyed the aftermath, she felt a mix of triumph and horror. The fortress lay in ruins, but the cost had been unimaginable. "Director," Mark said, his expression grave, "what do we tell headquarters?" Veronica sighed, the weight of the world resting on her shoulders. "We tell them Al-Hakam is gone, but we leave out the details." As she walked away from the chaos, a chill ran down her spine. Somewhere in the darkness, the voice of Layla lingered, a reminder that the line between good and evil was never as clear as it seemed. And in the distance, the desert winds howled, carrying secrets that would never be uncovered.